Hi, Mike here on a very cold November day. We're off orienteering today, going to Rocky Woods. Actually, my second race there in 2 weeks. I did the Brown course at the test event we had a couple of weeks ago. Didn't use my camera there, but we'll take it today and go around the green course this time. Let's see how it goes. Here's a map of where the event is being held. I'm a member of New England Orienteering Club and I've been competing since the early 1970s in Europe, the US and Australia. Orienteering is like trail running, but you have to navigate between each control point yourself, often going off trail. In the description below I'll have some links to videos to introduce you to the sport if you're not familiar with it. In this video we'll take a look at the map with the course on it, then take a closer look at each section with some video of the event. However, this is not a masterclass, and you'll see that I will probably make some mistakes. I don't like to admit that I ever get lost, but sometimes I temporarily don't know exactly where I am. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them. Now, let's go orienteering. Well, here we are at the event location. A couple of weeks ago there were a lot more people here and there was an organised check-in with social distancing and mask wearing, of course, and remote check-in. I've got some photos from the club website. I'll show you what it was like on the day 2 weeks ago. So here's a map of the brown course. We're going to study the brown course rather than the green one, but I'll show you some clips from the woods from my film that I took while I was running the green course. I saw the choice between going around the paths on Route A or going straight on Route B. Straight was technically more difficult and it wasn't going to be any quicker, so I went around the paths. The map in our Route Gadget software, which we use to draw our courses on, had to start in a different location, which would definitely have made going straight more of an option. So this was a pretty straightforward start. Going on the trails meant that I could look ahead to other routes. Just had to make sure to turn right at that junction and then cut in up that little valley and into the control, which I missed just slightly, but was very close to it. Let's take a look at the next leg. So I knew I just wanted to go pretty much north, try and pick up that sort of flattish area by the bottom of the hill, then go up the hill. I hadn't quite figured out the rest, but I was sure I could work it out as I went along. It pretty much went as I expected. It was a bit slow going through the bottom of the valley there, then had to climb up the hill. And as I got up to the path, I wanted to look for that small little valley re-entrant that I hit just about now, and just use that to navigate into the checkpoint. Let's take a look at the next leg. So the plan was basically to go straight and hope I could navigate when I was near the trail to figure out where I was and then find my way into the control from there, which sort of is how the plan went. And off we go. It's fairly slow going. It was quite rough in the bit of forest there. Picked up the trail basically pretty much on the corner there and looked for that valley there, and then was able to basically navigate pretty much straight into the control. Now let's take a look at some film of the actual event as I was taking part in it. Let's take a look at the next leg. So the plan was to just head south through the woods as quick as I could to get to the trail and go around the trail. And as I was nearing where the control was coming off the trail, I should start to look for as the hillside started bending around, going up and around the corner of the hillside and into the rally. And you can see that's basically what happened. Trail running was pretty straightforward. I think I looked ahead to some other legs while I was doing that running. Was slightly under the control, so I missed it just a little bit, but not by much. Let's take a look at the next leg. So here it was go down to the trails, follow the trails most of the way around Route B, breaking off around the corner and going in through some boulders in more or less straight westerly directions of the control, or taking Route A, which was more of a straight line from the pond, which is, I think, what I did. And didn't have much trouble navigating into this one. Let's take a look at the next leg. So this was just go straight to it, basically, down a bit, then up a bit, and then navigate off the top of the hill coming down into the control. And it did not go as planned. I somehow must have gone right by the control. We'll see as I go around the hill here. Go right past the control, must have been really close to it, messed up on the hillside, relocated when I saw the trails and had to come back up into it. Time for some more fun in the woods. Let's take a look at the next leg. So this was contour around the hillside of the trail, then run along the trail. As I started coming out of Control 6, I hadn't really figured out where I was going to leave the trail, but I would figure that out as I was going along. I thought that boulder just below the number 5 would be a good place to cut off, but in fact I think I cut off a little bit sooner, and I was able to run in and see the large pond area fairly easily. Let's take a look at the next leg. So the plan was to head north to the trail, turn right, then a left, and then as I was nearing the rock and the bend in the path, veer off east and go through the kind of depression area and get into the control from there. But you can see I went the wrong way in the trail, and I really don't know why. I was just being dumb. I don't know what it was. I figured it out fairly quickly though, and got back on trail and the right route, and it was pretty straightforward from there. So I was a bit annoyed, to say the least, that I made such a silly mistake. Let's take a look at the next leg. Excellent course setting here by the course setter. Which way round do you go around the lake? Northern route A, or do you go all the way south, which would be further south than route B? On B, I didn't know if that black line across the lake was a trail or not. So I was kind of nervous. It was like a little down wall that you couldn't cross, so I didn't go that way. But as I was about at this point at the top of the lake, I could see some people on it. I could see that it was a path, and it would have been much quicker to go around that way. Oh well. Anyway, I navigated fairly well during the hillside to get to the control in the end. Time for some more film from the woods. Let's take a look at the next leg. Simple here, basically go due north to the trail, take a right, and hit the trail junction. That's exactly what happened. As you get to the trail junction, looking on towards the way to the finish. And now let's look at the final leg. So it's just follow the trail all the way to the finish, running as hard as you can for the end. And there we go. There we are. Come up to the finish. That's the end of this run. One thing, this UA mask is useless. Gets soaked in sweat breathing the mask every time I take a breath. Anyway, that was a good run. Well, it was a good workout. I made a few significant mistakes out there in the course. That was unfortunate, and some of the detailed navigation. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll leave some links to some other orienteering videos, an instructional video, and maybe an inspiring one. And that's it for now.